And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. It is Saturday night on the eve of the new season coming along in a new COVID world that we're living in at the moment. We're back for season number 3. Kings, we've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's happened since our last episode at the end of, or the start of the COVID sort of pandemic when it sort of started to hit. That was when we brought our last episode. So we're back now to preview the new season, talk about the new coaching, new players, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you to everyone who's watched along in season 2. You guys returning, make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments, et cetera, below. New people along watching, welcome to the channel. And hit us subscribe on Facebook, and we're also on YouTube doing some content there as well. So make sure you go over there and subscribe if you want to see King's content. I did do some videos in the preview last season, but this season I haven't really had time. There's a lot of shit going on, and then this whole year's been disrupted, and it's just all over the place. And the NBA hasn't started. Other codes have just finished, et cetera, et cetera. It's chaos.
Let's be real. We haven't had the same caliber signings as last year.
True, and I felt like I was pretty early on that JT call of him being awesome. So
yeah, you were.
Which was good. So like, share, and subscribe. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm going to try and put these up on a subscription service, not a subscription service, but a podcast service, Podcast Addict and Apple Podcasts this year. Those of you who were watching last year saw me attempt to do that, and then 5 episodes in get banned for some reason. It was weird. Had no idea what was happening there. But we'll try and get those out so you guys can listen on your favorite podcasts apps. And anything else we got to plug?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm a bit rusty. I'm back. Look, we're back. It's you got a new setup going on there?
Yeah, it's phone only.
Strip down to the phone only, but that's all right. We'll work through that. We'll see how that goes for a bit.
Internet's down tonight.
Yeah. You're on the NBN though now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's actually good.
Must be raining over there.
It is.
So how are you anyway? Welcome back to the mix.
Just gearing up for the season, the NBA season. We've been doing a bit of content on that channel. Over the break, obviously big outbreak in Sydney today, which
fun
has
times.
kind of dampened spirits for tomorrow's clash. It would have been nice to go, but I think these things are just going to be what they are for a period of time. It's going to kind of throw in doubt the first game as well, because WA's just chucked up a hard border with New South Wales. So I imagine that Sydney will have to make a decision if nothing's relaxed before then, what they do if they go in quarantine in a state that isn't got, what I mean, like play out of Perth or play out of Melbourne or play out of Adelaide kind of thing. So it's going to be some big decisions, I think, in the next couple of weeks. But hopefully they can get on top of things before Christmas and, we go back to the nice life we were living. Adelaide did pretty well. So let's hope that we can also do well in this instance. Yeah,
so that first game's the 15th. It's pretty tight. I mean, before New Year, if there's somehow we kind of lock it all down by the New Year, I mean, that might be a good scenario.
I think they'll make a call. Sorry, Biloxtradamus here. I think they'll make a call probably tomorrow whether they do a Sydney-wide lockdown until Christmas Eve. I think that gives them time to stop movement of people, to catch up and get on top of things. I was pretty right last season. So, I do think that if the call will be tomorrow, if there's a lot more cases and a lot more unknown cases, then I think they'll put a greater Sydney lockdown in for 3 or 4 days to try and get really on top of things and just stop people from going anywhere. So that's my prediction. If you live in Sydney, obviously we're all Sydney Kings fans, but there may be some interstate people listening. So
the other thing was maybe, an exception for a sporting team was the other option. They could kind of go down.
It's pretty crazy, but
crazy good.
Well, it could be one of those things that they have to kind of meet in the middle. I don't know what happens. I think every other place is locked out, everything except from the northern beaches. But look, these things change pretty quickly, so we'll see, and we'll have updates on Facebook, I suppose, about what's happening.
Yep. So yeah, it's just another sort of thing we're living through. I guess when we had no sport going on, or like when all the sports kind of died down, we had the NRL. I think we were talking about just the NRL starting back up last time we were live, and like going into a season is going to be like we're kind of in a weird spot here going into a season. We were coming off the back of that last season, which ended in a bit of disappointment. I mean, it was bizarre. We're not gonna dredge up the old salt from last year, dig up the old salt pan. But yeah, that kind of ended in fast. And then if you look at some of these other sports that they've got to plan out what they're doing, and it just felt like the way last year ended. We're going to go into this pretty conservatively, and I can see us. They planned out the first 5 games. It looks like here. And I don't know. I can see it being pretty conservative, maybe a little bit of chaos for the first couple of rounds. But ultimately, you kind of want the player safety, And if we bring, to tie it back into what we're talking about Perth first game, if they were to bring Perth over, just bring them over, house them in, Broken Hill, somewhere like that.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's not just exclusive to WA. I mean, all states have now pretty much thrown up the walls, and will probably, they've already said if there's any cases outside the northern beaches that they can't trace, then all states' borders are going to close until we can get under control. So it's kind of like Sydney needs to make a decision probably in the next. Both Sydney and Illawarra need to make a decision probably in the next 48 hours after that game, is if they just don't get on a plane and go down to Melbourne and stay there for the period of time.
Yeah.
To see what happens, because they'll be able to play, they'll be able to get out before this curfew happens. That's my feeling on it anyway. But I'm sure
that's our armchair COVID discussion out of the way. But yeah, it ties into what's going to happen this season. I think there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. We've got to kind of just work our way through it. Our season ended in disappointment last year, but this year we've got to, continue to plow on through it. Elise Driver's is commenting, so keen for the new season. I am also. I kind of let it all slip off my radar for a little bit, with everything that was happening, work wise, kind of looking at this NBL and going, I can't get too into it, if that makes sense. Like, it's the NBA. It's not like the NBA where there's a lot happening. You get a lot of information thrown at you. There's places to get a lot of information about everything that's happening. The NBL is a little bit more subdued. It's kind of all the information's kept on a tight rein. But now getting back into it the last few days, making that promo video, settle down, Callie. I'm back. I'm ready. I'm pumped up.
Some unfinished business, I think.
Yeah, and then Michael Hoskins is saying season to be played behind closed doors, maybe.
I don't think it will be. I think that the other states have done enough, and City have done enough to a point. And I think that what will come out of this is, from a health perspective, is just tighter regulations around international air crews. I think that's what the main thing is going to come out of this outbreak, is that there's a leak, and they're going to plug that leak, and we'll see how we go from there. But,
and if it is behind closed doors, whatever. I'm happy to watch on TV.
Whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's a shame, because I know a lot of the NBL revenue is based on ticket sales, which is
which hurts.
Want to see the league survive, and it's a shame that they're all kind of played in indoor arenas and not outdoor. Maybe we might see some street hoops.
Street hoops, 3-on-3 NBL hustle. All right, so let's move into discussing the Kings off-season. We'll start Wil Weaver obviously getting that contract to coach for the Houston Rockets in the US.
This is a weird one for me.
Yeah?
You've gone from relative safety, in a nice open environment where no one's sick, to literally Corona Central. It was a bit of it. Like, I can understand why JT left. Is it tied? Because it's obviously the same thing. It's tied the same thing.
We'll get to JT. Don't worry.
We'll get to JT. But as a coach, you've got the head coach position. You've been in the NBA. You've not taken a head coach position. Is he there because he thinks that it's Steve Silas is a new coach and potentially could be given the flick relatively early on, and therefore he's in line to take over? Is it else would you go to Corona Central, really?
And it's not like it's a stable environment. I guess they're a competing team. They're not exactly locked in to make a deep run in the playoffs, and it's not as though he's gone there in the period they have just had, like 2 years ago. Like that team would have been like, wow, okay, yeah, get over there, get some experience. But now kind of the whole thing fell apart for their, sorry, Rockets fans who are listening, but their whole season, their whole team, everything's fallen apart. Coach is gone, GM's gone, front office is cleaned out. I guess tying back in that part, I can understand. And he's American too. Like if he was Australian, it kind of would be like, damn, going all the way over there, like fair enough. But he's kind of going back home, not necessarily to his home, but to his home country. I get that, but it's, yeah, man, gamble must have been some decent money for him to do it. Must be humanity related. He's quite like a deep dude. Like it's not like he was, a real athletic jockey type coach guy. Like he was quite a deep thinker. Yeah. And to lose him kind of sucks. Like the situation sucks. We're losing a coach that was clearly like one of the best in the league and had the potential to take the team to a level that we haven't seen in a while. And, he did last year, got us to the finals, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, being Australians, you kind of just learn to live with, all right, roster upheaval every year. Like almost every sport, it's like that. Like if you follow football, if you follow like all different sports, you kind of just get used to being, oh, right, a guy's just going to leave and go overseas. Fair enough. Enjoy. Yeah. There goes like that era type of thing.
The only stable, obviously, is the Sydney FC kind of dynasty that has been kind of the stable backbone of elite sport in Australia for a long time. But yeah, you just don't see. Basketball's never one of those sports. It's very rare. You kind of get a run of about 4 years, and then everything kind of gets blown up because people get overpaid or want more money and things like that. So, in my mind, it was a bit weird that he went just in the circumstances. It must have been for the dollars and cents because he must have had some good money thrown at him. That's the only thing I can think of.
What about like the chaos of what was happening? Because we saw like Diddy basically just get out of the country. Like in all that chaos at the back end of last season, he basically just got out of the country. I wonder if it's got something to do with it as well. The chaos aspect, like shit, I got to get home type of thing.
Yeah, but America's kind of like, you can get to America anytime because he's American. Like, their borders haven't closed to anyone during this whole period. And so, yeah, it was just a bit of a strange call to just kind of up and leave a year out, coming from kind of a G League to an NBL kind of Next Stars program to then back as an assistant coach in the NBA. Maybe is he head assistant coach? Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of went, okay, that's happened. Sweet. All right, take it easy.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so obviously following on to that was the Rockets signing JT to a multi-year deal. Obviously, Wil Weaver had a part in that.
Yeah, and definitely worthy and deserved. Yes. Totally deserved after the season he had last year. It sucks again. It's another one of those, God damn it, like, why has he got to leave? This sucks. But at the same time, man, if anyone on that roster last year deserved to just, like, you're now in the NBA, it's like definitely JT.
Yep.
Fantastic season for us last season. It's going to be a huge hole to fill.
It's a huge hole to fill, one, because there's been such a dramatic pay cut in the league. And two, the lack of, I suppose, people wanting to move outside their home country at the moment. And so you really got to look inward to local talent. A lot of teams have been very successful luring back overseas talent, overseas local grown talent like Jock Landau. Maybe do we see a Rowdy Ryan? He's obviously just been away from the 76ers. Do we see a Rowdy Ryan? Do we see a Jonah Bolden? We've still got one spot on the team. I doubt those two very much will make an NBA roster this season.
So that's the one thing I was actually thinking of before was we might be able to snipe some of these guys. We've already seen, Jack White go to United, god damn it, and then Landau, god damn it, go to Melbourne United. We might be able to snipe some of these other guys coming out of Europe and coming out of the US that can't get in there. And, would you really want to stay in the US if you're not on a guaranteed NBA deal?
Probably not.
I would be looking at like, man, if I'd get paid a little bit less just to be in Australia for a year, like while all this coronavirus type stuff's going on. We might be able to pick up someone like that. Obviously, we'll talk about the centre position a little bit later. But that leads us on to, Andrew Bogut retiring. Absolute
what a monster career.
Monster. Just fantastic career for him. How good he was in that first season for us was great. How like creaky he was kind of in the second season, I think.
It's just he kind of just turned up for the finals. Like
he
played
for
so
sure.
Well in the finals.
And it put a bit of a dent in like what, I think if there was no pandemic and he had just retired at the end of the season, it would have been a lot bigger. Like, fanfare, et cetera, et cetera. The pandemic hammered. There was a lot of time involved in him then making that decision. Came at a bit of a strange time too. And I think it took a little bit of the shine. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, Bogut. Okay, he's retired. Yeah, great career, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think he's going to get the credit he really deserves for the career he's had.
No. And I watched an interesting video about how he fundamentally changed the Warriors offense. Like just fundamentally changed that team. And he was part of that dynasty and a big part of it throughout the regular season. Although he didn't match up well against the Cavs in the finals, he was a big part of what they did. And, some of the highlights between him and Steph are just some of the best things to watch. And some of the Kings' first-year highlights as well. Just the epic blocks and just battling, all the second-tier centers in the...
the plumbers and brickies that play in the NBL.
Plumbers and brickies. Lamar Patterson and, just all the
so that kind of sucks too. A little bit. It's kind of a bit like,
it kind of sucks, but I think it's the best thing for Casper Ware. Wil Weaver, Bogut didn't really fit into a Wil Weaver system exceptionally well. Kind of that 3 and D kind of player. And I think teams, cottoned on and smarted up to, Bogut playing at the elbow, and were able to draw a lot of charges and, move inside a lot of screens. And so it kind of got to the point where he was having to run block to block to kind of do things. And I think his body just had enough.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of injuries.
You could tell he was struggling, man. Like even when he went and played for the Warriors in that second stint, straight away you were just like, wow, he's like a step and a half slow. Like this is hard to watch, man. For him to then play in the World Cup and then come back to Australia, you could tell like his body didn't get the rest and rejuvenation that it needed. And he was a little bit laboured in that second season for us. Still an excellent player, like great locker room guy, like by all accounts, huge presence in the league. I think we're going to miss him. Even a 50% Bogut, I think we're going to miss in terms of defense around the rim and just the level and the caliber of the center that he was. I think it's going to be huge.
One thing I hope it does bring to the league is that we've got so many talented, good players around the world now and so many big names that it'd be nice to see them all come home for a couple of seasons, put a couple of seasons in the local league, get paid the money they deserve. Bogut deserved every cent of his marquee status. But, I'd love to see Paddy suit up for an Illawarra for 2 years. Or
suit up for the Kings, man. Come to Sydney. That'd be great.
He's an Illawarra boy.
Don't just come to the Kings anyway, mate. It's all good.
Joe
Bogut's from Melbourne,
Yeah, I suppose. Joe Ingles coming back for a couple of seasons.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Delhi coming back. These are all be good, you know what I mean? Like, it's that would be good to watch. And I think that's, an important part of growing this league is that you can actually able to offer these guys a financial incentive to come back. And it's just, it's pretty trash that Rona's kind of thrown that out of sorts. But I hope they get a TV deal because I think they're going to have a lot of people watching it this year, which is going to be good.
So they don't have the ESPN deal anymore?
I'm not sure.
No, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. I think that was all to do with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, LaMelo, and then drafted forward the Hornets. Like, all right, sure. Well,
he actually had a pretty good game.
He looks like, as much as we were like, I don't know about this, he still looks like that, but at the same time, you can't see the good bits, and you're just like, all right, with an NBA team, the good bits actually look really good, but the bad bits, look real bad, man. Like
His
his shooting is
the mechanic is broken, but so is Lonzo
awful.
Balls, and he still shot 39% last year in the NBA. So we'll see how that goes.
And more next stars this year. I think we've got a couple of. I think one of the Warriors guys is playing for the Hawks. It's not Mannion, it's the other guy. I can't remember what his name is. His name's just escaping me right now. But it's another year of interesting prospects, and I like this next star thing. We've got Didi back. It's going to be great. We'll go into a wider roster discussion now. We've got the. I feel like we didn't give that Bogut segment enough. Like it kind of deserves its own episode. So maybe we'll do something during the season, like a watch along of some of his highlights, et cetera, or something like that. So.
Or we can do a top 20 Bogut players of all time or something like that. We'll throw something in there.
Yeah. So the wider roster now, we've signed Jarrell Martin.
Do one more thing.
Yeah.
The change in coach, Adam Ford. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, sorry, it's at the top of my list here. We didn't actually say Adam Ford. Yeah, sure. Like it's COVID. It's probably the best time for a rookie coach to come in. Following Wil Weaver, he gets a chance to have a crack at it in probably the right time for that. Like there's probably never a right time for a coach without the pedigree to come into a team like this. But now at COVID, like you just get a free year. It's like if you're crap, we just sack you at the end of the year, whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows what this year is going to be? I'm not saying he's going to be bad or he's going to be a terrible coach or, that we know enough to glean exactly what's going to happen. For example, like we knew Weaver's X's and O's, how deep a thinker he was, like the things he was going to bring to the NBL. We knew that. And we could go, okay, we'll make a prediction about that. With Adam Ford, I just feel like it's just a roll the dice.
It's a bit of an unknown, yeah.
A kind of like, you just take the reins for a year and we'll just see what happens because it's a down year type of scenario.
Yeah.
But good luck to him, man. Like I'm, still backing him. Like he's still just like, yeah, man, it's a great story. Like superb. Like for an assistant coach to come in and then just take up the reins from a guy who looked like he was going to take the team somewhere. If the team gels or goes somewhere and Adam Ford's name's on it, great. Good. Like that's even great for him. It's great for the franchise as well. So what are your thoughts?
Look, I take it back to the game that Wil Weaver got ejected. Some of the plays that were a bit rusty and maybe a little bit too much Casper Ware ISO in that. I think that was very much Adam calling from the sideline. I think that you needed to get the wider team involved. And that's one thing Wil Weaver was good at, was getting the wider team involved. I don't want to see, 15 bricks a game from Casper Ware this season. We've got to start running some smarter plays. And I'm worried that that's going to be a big part of what Adam does when, the chips are down. It's just going to be going to Casper Ware to get a bucket. But I think we've got a more intelligent team than that and should have a more intelligent team that's played together for a couple of seasons now. So,
it's like I agree, but at the same time, like the in-game management is going to be different now that he's got a chance to set up this team.
Yeah.
But the one thing we're going to miss is it's a couple of things like a JT. Like you knew that guy coming in was going to be phenomenal. Like as soon as you watch the first few clips of him, just like he's just going to destroy all these guys inside, man. All these plumbers in this league are going to like be flushed down the toilet by this guy. I think he shot like 71% around the rim. Like you could, and that's the genius of a coach like Wil Weaver to go 6'4". Yeah, are you laughing at that? Are you? Yeah, sweet. Like we'll see on the night, and then he comes out and he's one of our best players. The other thing was when Xavier Cooks came in. Putting him at small ball center was another thing that kind of unlocked us. And how maybe that was a lot to do with Adam Ford. I'm not sure. But I don't know if he's going to have that kind of like out of the box, like reactionary thinking that Wil Weaver kind of brought to this team last season.
Yeah.
Which time will tell. Like we're not sitting here panning him straight away. Like we're definitely going to wait and see how he does. I hope he does really well, and I hope the team does really well. But it's also going into the wider roster discussion. First up center spot, the number 5 spot, is going to be massive. And like Jarrell Martin's come in, I don't think he's going to be our center really. I don't think he has the size and the ability of a guy who's slightly undersized. I don't think he's going to have an impact like JT did last season. But losing Bogut, we really need a center, a shot blocking defensive center really badly.
I'd personally be going after Jonah Bolden, but don't
or
know if
Thon
we've got
Maker,
enough.
but I think it speaks to the caliber of player that we kind of need. Like we
Yeah,
need that tier of player. Like, you know, you could get some of the outcasts of the league, like a Pledger, like just bring in Pledger to, you know, defend the rim as the last man on the roster. But I don't know. I feel like we need, like, not necessarily the level that Bogut was, but someone in that caliber, in that tier. Anyway, yeah, I interrupted you there.
Well, no, I think that Drill Munn, I think, shows you a side of the league that was the NBA. I think that, you know, that wasn't ever, you know, Wil Weaver's intention. He was always to have a stretch 5 center. We just had Bogut. You know, I think if you watch his G League, you know, it's always a stretch 5 center. And so it'd be interesting to see if Drill Munn has brought a 3-point game to his caliber. I know that he's an older style kind of center, you know, a dunker around the rim, a little bit of, you know, a kind of hook game, nothing too fancy. Obviously played in the NBA for a number of years, but, you know, there's a reason why he's not there now. You know, do we still think he's good enough? You know, big shoes to fill in Bogut, and especially when this roster is not as filled out as we'd like it to be. You know, you're probably down one marquee. Brad Newell's a year older. Cass Williamson coming off the best season. Is that the best signing? Or was that just the only option?
Yeah, I'm worried that it was the only option. I hope it wasn't the only option. I hope we're working on someone in the background. But in terms of, like, to lose Bogut at that time, like, I'm pretty sure he signed after Bogut. Was he just before?
Yeah, no, he signed after Bogut retired. Bogut retired and he signed.
So the optics around that kind of looks like, oh, we'll bring Jarrell Martin in. And that makes you go, like, no, we need a shot blocker. Like, okay, he's come in and he can shoot, you know, an elbow jumper. I think he can probably extend his range out to 3 on, you know, 1 of 4 maybe. But I think he's not going to be the defensive presence that we kind of need with this team. And it showed last year that, you know, when Bogut was off the floor, we didn't really have the that high caliber defensive center. Like, Kickett was good. He did well, but you're not going, you know, block 2 shots a game for us, Kickett, like, you know, off the bench. Like, it'd be great now to slot in a defensive center now, and hopefully it's just not like it's Geordie Hunter time. Like, step up, Geordie. It's like, oh no, please. Like, as much as I don't mind Jordan Hunter, and I hope he makes another developmental leap in his game over the next couple of years, it's just like, I hope we don't just go, it's time for Jordan Hunter to step up into this spot. It's like, oh no, please. So yeah, I definitely think that center spot is wide open. We need to get a defensive shot blocking center. Jarrell Martin kind of looks to me like a bit of a, you know, a rich man's Rainbow Ray Turner. Will come in.
Ray Puffed?
Nah, not Ray Puffed. He looks fit. He looks pretty sleek. I just hope he comes in and just fits into the offense. But yeah. DJ, have you seen any highlights of
This dude reminds me of Tyler Hero / Duncan Robinson.
Dude, how much, like, after watching that Hero run in the NBA, how much it just looks so much like DJ, man. It's nuts.
Yeah,
like, even that sidestep 3, like, I was watching him training, and even that sidestep 3, man, just looks like Tyler Hero. I was like, whew, if you can come out and just gun this year, there's no way, like, there's no reason why you can't put up, you know, 15 to 20 points a game.
And then the Bucks come in and just go, yep, we'll take him.
Yeah, we'll take him. Thank you. But that's part and parcel. We're used to it now. Diddy obviously coming back. That's good. I think another year of him.
Yep, definitely.
He almost didn't make it back. Did you watch any of that little documentary that he made where he flew back? I watched the first little bit, and then I forgot about it. So I just tweaked in my mind then.
I think I might have watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a watch it and talk about that.
I did watch the part. I did watch the part when he comes back and gets in a hotel quarantine for a couple of weeks and trains and has to do all that kind of stuff. But,
so I think if he can make another developmental leap as well, it's going to be huge for us. Another bigger sort of defensive scorer will be big. I think. I don't know. DJ's defensive game is it's all right. Like, it's not like you're looking at Diddy going, you know, you can lock down smaller guards. Whereas I don't think DJ's got that sort of ability. At least, he'll make up with that with his scoring. Casper obviously being back, okay, another year of Casper. It is what it is. I think we were sort of saying on the back end of last season, we're just like, oh man, I guess it's another year of Casper. Where the vets also being back was another thing I had in my notes here. So looking at our roster, Angus Glover, I think we talked about him on the last episode that we did. I think that'll be a good signing if he can stay healthy.
If he's got to stay healthy. His knees have got to hold up. That's pretty much it. Yeah, he looks good. He looked good in some of the preseason training I see on the Kings.
Another kind of gluey type guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but his knees have just got to somehow hold up.
Touch wood.
Tic Tacs, yeah.
Touch wood. Craig Moller come back. That's pretty good. And then, the veterans, Brad Newley, Daniel Kickett, and Shawnee Bruce, veterans. Shawnee Bruce is kind of a veteran. He's looking pretty jacked, eh? I was watching some of that camping, those camping shots. I was like, damn, he looks like he's been in the weight room, which would be good if he can come back and give us another off the bench sort of performance that he gave us last season. He started out as one of our really, really important players off the bench, tapered off a little bit down the end of last season, but to be expected. I don't think he really had the NBL engine that I hope he comes back this season with. I think if he makes a leap developmentally again like that, I think he will give us some more important minutes. And then Xavier Cooks, another year. I think he opted out and then re-signed, didn't he?
Yes.
And it was a little bit like, whoa, XC's gone. Okay, see you later. And then he re-signed. I was like, oh, yeah, XC's back. Sweet, nice to have you back.
That had something to do with the reduction in salary. I think his option was too high and he had to, opt out and re-sign at a lower level just for this season.
So, yeah, good to have him back anyway. He's very versatile. I think he can pretty much guard 2 to 5 at an acceptable level. Guarding a 5 at an acceptable level. It's not elite, but, I think he's going to be another important glue guy this season. Attitude-wise, a lot of things I've been seeing, everyone's just loves him to bits. So it's good to see him, being recognized in the squad as an important piece. And then, Jarrell Martin. And, one more spot, man. Please, that center. Please, defensive center, shot blocker. Jordan Hunter, supplementary, we should just say. Yeah, Jordy.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, though, because there is one more piece of the puzzle, but that piece of the puzzle, if they're an overseas player, has got to get here within the next couple of days of that first game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't actually think about any of that. Shit.
So... I don't know who there is locally, but that's that would be interesting.
I haven't actually thought about that. Damn, that hurts then. And we got one more import slot, don't we? I think Casper's still classed as an import.
Yeah, Casper's import.
And then Jarrell. So we've got one more. Or is that Diddy as the next star?
Yeah, because he's not next star anymore.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to do a little bit of research on that. There's some holes in my knowledge. This year's been just weird, the weirdest year. It's bizarre that it's, Christmas and all these sports haven't even started yet. It's just bizarre. It's really, really strange. It's thrown me out. So anything else in my notes? That's about it, really. The season's nearly here. There's a game on tomorrow, so we'll be back after that to have a bit of a chat. Even if you're you can just call me and we'll go through the decks again. Otherwise, sweet. I'll come back, definitely give my thoughts. Yeah, we're up in the content game this season. We're going to be doing a lot more sort of on demand type stuff at the end of games, reactions, etc. Try and get more fan interaction. We want to get guys actually involved, get their opinions, get them talking, stuff like that. But get people involved. I think that's kind of what we set out to do at the start. Yeah, the tipping comp's back. I got to set that up. Oh, that's annoying. Forgot about that. Paul Fox. We were chasing him this season. He absolutely crushed us last year. But hopefully we get more people in that. Yeah, so shout out to the tipping comp. We'll try and drum up a little bit more support for that. I had written down everything that I had here, but I think I deleted it for some reason. It's bizarre. But yeah, any final thoughts before we
really just
call
interesting to watch it stream tomorrow. And I suppose we'll know more of the team then. We haven't really seen any kind of, gym hall games like the last couple of seasons. So tomorrow being the first proper run, it'll be interesting to see how this team glues together.
All right. Yeah, so as always, you can find us on Facebook. Give us a like on Facebook. On YouTube, we'll be throwing these podcasts up on YouTube, and then we're doing some other content as well. So if you want to give us a subscribe on YouTube, we'll be bringing out some content like that. I'm working on a podcast host just for the audio. So like, an Apple Podcast, et cetera, you can listen on those platforms. I'll shout that out on the Facebook page. And subscribe and all of that. And we will see you guys next time
On the King's Dime.
All right, take it easy, everyone.
See you.
Rusty and dull.
Rusty and dull.
Stupid wishing well. That was good. Some people actually fucking said stuff. And I was just dropping S-bombs the entire time. Shit. Could clean that up.
Clean up the language.
I gotta do more of like interacting with stuff. You know what I mean? Like posting stuff, like like posts, so like we get traffic on there.
Yeah.
We reckon? No? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Because there's like 200 people on that.
I know. That's what I mean. It's crazy.
I'm gonna ask Nigel if his shop wants to sponsor it. Sponsored
Cats.
on the King's Dime, sponsored by the Butcher's Pantry, Eaglevale and Panania.
Why don't you do that and just get him to pay for SoundCloud for a year?
Yeah, I might do that. I gotta ask him over Christmas, get him lick it up.
Yeah, just say.
But nah, it'd be sick. Like, and then you could go into the Eaglevale store and use the code on the King's Dime to get 5% off your order. And then he'll be like, 6 months later, he'll be like, yeah, no one's ordered anything, bro. Like, fuck.
Could I have that $100 back?
Yeah, give me my hosting. I'll host a Butcher's podcast instead. Fuck, that dude works hard, but man, jeez, I couldn't do that. He's nuts. Like 3 a.m, getting on his fucking motorbike, just driving to work until like
Jesus, really?
10 at night. Yeah, he's a nutcase, man. The amount of work he's got to do, it's just crazy. Running a small business, fuck that. And they just opened an Eaglevale store. It's just up the road from us. Pretty good.
Sick. Get your meat.